Coming up on Inside Look, presented by Cadillac. Let's play 2, the second part of our special conversation with Cubs ambassador, Ernie Banks. The North Side is a place where Banks beat all odds and became one of baseball's all-time success stories.
I wanted people to know that about my life, not what I did. I know what I did, but who I am.
Also, going one-on-one with Mr. Cub in a special at-bat.
One more time. Let's do it one more time.
Part 2 of Inside Look, Ernie Banks. Next.
Welcome again to Inside Look. I'm David Kaplan. In part 1 of our discussion with Hall of Famer Ernie Banks, we talked about the disappointment of never winning a championship here at Wrigley Field. But his amazing career ultimately earned him a ticket to Cooperstown. The career itself began in 1953 when he became the first African-American player to wear a Chicago Cubs uniform. We begin part 2 with Ernie's memories of the man who changed baseball and society itself. Ironically, you have the same birthday as Jackie Robinson. He was born, he's older, but the same birth date you share with Jackie Robinson. He also became a huge influence in your life, and he wanted you to become a Dodger, I believe.
Yes, he did.
Take me back to your relationship with him.
Well, I played in Jackson, Mississippi with the minor league team that played against his Major League All-Stars. And he came over to me after the inning was out. He said, Ernie, you can play in the Major League. I'm going to recommend you to the Dodgers. I just looked at him. I didn't answer him. And that's what he did. So 5 years later, Cubs was playing here, the Dodgers was here. They had already won the pennant, so Jackie didn't play. I didn't play because we were not winning. So he came over to third base. That's where the Cub dugout is. And I came out of the dugout, went up to him, and he said, Ernie, I'm glad you're here. I knew you would make it. And I just want to tell you a little advice. Listen and you'll learn. Listen and you'll learn. And that stayed in my mind for forever. And just listening. I just listened to people. I didn't answer them or nothing. They had interviewed Jack Brickhouse and all the guys here. One day I didn't know what to say. What pitch did you hit? I just listened to them, their questions. So Jackie told me that, and then later on I got with Jerry Lucas. Jerry Lucas played basketball at Ohio State. And he got into a memory class. And I got involved, I heard about it, got involved in it, so I went to that class of learning how to remember things, remember people's names, places, where they were born, and all that. So when I started playing first base, everybody got on first base, and they got on first base a lot then. I would tell them about, oh, Ted Sizemore, you was born in Walker, Missouri, and you went to school at Ohio State, and they would be on first base looking back and forth. How do you know all this stuff? Because I remembered all. I knew everything about everybody who played baseball, not just their playing, a football or basketball or any sport, not just their playing, who they were, because my life was about not what they do, but who they are. That's what I really wanted to know. And I wanted people to know that about my life, not what I did. I know what I did, but who I am. And I remember that from Jackie. Jackie, I went to a lot of his speeches that he made. I went to New York, and I was really surprised when Rachel, his wife, called me in Arizona and told me they wanted me to be a pallbearer for Jackie. And I was, really shocked and touched by that. So I went to New York and was, one of his pallbearers.
If we look back right over here by third base, that would have been many, 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 many years ago when you stood right there talking to him.
Yes. It was at third base.
It was right there.
Yeah, right there.
So if you think back to those moments and the wisdom that he had on you, what did he tell you about having to deal with the racial tension that this country had and what it was going to do to you? Did he give you advice, here's how you handle it, or he let you figure it out like Gene Baker did on your own?
Same way. That time, that's what they let me figure it out myself. I mean, just listen. That's what he told me. Just listen and you'll learn, and that's what I did. But most of those guys I played with Kansas City, I learned a lot from them. They had a lot of wisdom now. A lot of them were not educated. But they knew so much about life. It was just unbelievable. Jackie knew so much about life. He was in the military and all of that, and went to UCLA, and you know, he was above everybody. He raised the bar with all of that. You know, and then Larry Doby came, and I learned a lot from Larry Doby. He was over in the other league, but we played them in Arizona. They train out there. Indians train in Arizona where we were. So I had a chance to see him and talk to him a lot, and I just got around a lot of those guys. And my life now is what I'm going to do. I'll share this with you. I'm going to visit all their grave sites, the ones that are here, like Buck O'Neill and Satchel Paige, and their grave site. And the reason that it just means so much to me that I learned so much from them. I haven't shared it with anybody, school kids or nothing, but I just learned so much from them, you know, that just being around, they play, they action. I learned from Satchel, something that I wrote down and I live by. Keep running and don't look back. Somebody might be gaining on you. Don't look back.
Just keep moving.
Keep moving. And that's what you got to do in life.
Your life after baseball was about giving back. You were very philanthropic. You wanted to always give to people. You always wanted to be a good person. You always wanted to make people feel good. People must have come up to you all the time and said, "Oh, Ernie, I ran home in the 7th inning after school and watched you play."
They did.
That's the infectious thing that you've got, the way you touch people.
They did. And I was in California. I met a guy that really shocked me. He came up to Ernie. I mean, I watched you play a lot, and every time you came to the batter's box, I would watch you. I didn't care what you did, whether you got a hit or home run. I just watched your movement and your feeling toward being in that batter's box. So it really inspired me, and I was really touched by that. You know, I just inspired him by going up to the plate. Didn't care what I did. And he was a little bit younger than me, but I was just amazed at it. I said, God almighty, I think about this. I like to tell kids and players, be nice to people. Be nice to people, because you're going to meet them somewhere again. Even here, you know, I saw a lot of young people that came to sit in Wrigley Field, and now they're captains and sky marshals and all kind of things. I mean, I'm just amazed at how people's lives grow and how they change and what they do with their lives from being here at Wrigley Field. This is like a school to me.
Coming up on Inside Look, Ernie Banks, a communication breakdown.
Sometimes they don't get it. My whole problem is get people to listen.
And later, the Hall of Famer goes to bat.
When was the last time you think you stood in this batter's box with a bat in your hand?
Direct injection. 265 foot-pounds of torque. All part of an engine built to effortlessly power through whatever challenge lies around the corner, no matter where that corner happens to be. The 308 horsepower Cadillac SRX, the most powerful standard engine in any luxury crossover. Take advantage of this exceptional offer on the stunning SRX crossover today.
Tomorrow, Starling Castro and the Northsiders collide with NL MVP Ryan Braun and the Brew Crew at Miller Park. Don't miss a division rivalry driven by Mazda. Cubs, Brewers, tomorrow night at 6:30 on Comcast Sportsnet. Fans' best friend.
I love the game of golf, so much so that I put a golf simulator in our studio. Although one Danette, I think, took it just a little too far.
Boys? Can you believe this guy? It's like Mick Ego. Yeah.
Hey, Kobe, I just want to thank you very much for taking the time for the Dan Patrick Show.
I really don't know how he's going to explain this to his wife.
The official team physicians of the Chicago White Sox and Bulls is Midwest Orthopedics at Rush. Voted the #1 orthopedic practice in Illinois and among the top in the nation by U.S. News and World Report. Midwest Orthopedics at Rush, when only the best will do. All baseball season, your Chicago White Sox live on one network, Comcast Sportsnet. Exclusive interviews with the team's biggest stars, in-depth Sox coverage from pregame to postgame, and the announcers that bring each game to life.
You can put it on the board, yeah!
All baseball season, your Chicago White Sox live on one network, Comcast Sportsnet, fans' best friend. We now return to Inside Look, Ernie Banks.
You are a big fan of golf. I'm a huge fan of golf. You told me one day that you got a chance to spend several days at Augusta playing golf with Warren Buffett and Bill Gates.
Half of the U.S. economy. You believe that?
How about that? So what was it like for Ernie Banks to be at Augusta, very privileged place, and to sit there with two of the wealthiest people in the history of the world? What's that like?
Was really amazing. Really amazing. But my life is what Jackie told me. Just listen. I just listened to them. We stayed in the same apartment at Augusta, went to the golf course, had lunch, and I just listened to them. I said, and they felt that I was a billionaire, not them. I mean, Warren Buffett was always talking to me and asking me different things. And what I did, I had some shirts made, and I gave it to them. They didn't wear them. These are wealthy people. They did not wear them. They wore the same shirts they had. They brought there. So I learned a lot from them. They don't waste anything, and they find out something they love to do, and they do it over and over and over again.
Isn't that what they told you is the key to happiness in this world?
And success.
What did they tell you?
And success. They were talking to each other. Just find something you love to do. And I saw that. Warren Buffett loved investing. Bill Gates loved technology. So that's what they love to do. And I learned that from them. Just find something you love to do. I try to pass that on to people I know, kids I know. Sometimes they don't get it. My whole problem is get people to listen to me. They don't listen.
They don't. It's the way the kids are today.
They don't listen.
All right, I want to take you back to let's look at your life. We're up top. We're looking down at the life of Ernie Banks. There he is walking up the fairway or having dinner with Warren Buffett, Bill Gates, and yet you came from where you had to scavenge to get food behind the supermarket, whatever they threw out so your mom could prepare a meal. You didn't know if you'd have a Christmas tree or gifts. Your brothers and sisters, they didn't care. You had this unbelievable life. They were very happy in their simple life.
Yeah.
Can you believe where you've been, what you've seen, and where you came from?
Yeah, and what I learned from that, I've been around poor people and wealthy people. I haven't seen any difference in their lifestyle. They're both happy with what they have, and miracles will happen in their life. I heard the owner of the White Sox, Jerry Reinsdorf, talking about this, of all the things that he did in his life. I mean, like buying the White Sox. He didn't know it was a good deal or a bad deal. Who he's buying it from or who's he selling to. They didn't know. He said, all I did was count on luck. Just luck that he got the White Sox. It's just luck.
Up next, competing with baseball's tainted era.
Does it bother you at all?
And
The toughest guy you ever faced standing in the batter's box here at Wrigley.
Inside Look. Ernie Banks will return in a moment.
This is Stan.
Morning, Tom. Drop dead, Stan.
Stan's responsible for the new rate cuts at Safe Auto. Rate cuts so deep, up to 35%. His coworkers are putting in lots of overtime.
How about lunch?
And they just love showing Stan how much they appreciate it.
I'm okay.
1-800-SAFE-AUTO. State minimum coverage. Savings of up to 35%.
Hey, Elizabeth.
When it comes to Chicago sports, we're as obsessed as you are. Every night on Sportsnet Central, get can't-miss highlights.
Cubs win! Cubs win 3-2 and 10.
In-depth interviews.
12 Major League wins to my name, and one of them happens to be a perfect game.
And the inside track of the teams you live for. Only on Sportsnet Central, presented by GMC. Every night at 10 and 10:30 on Comcast Sportsnet. Fans' best friend. Get closer to the field on game day as Comcast Sportsnet, Menards, and the Cubs team up to select 6 lucky winners to be a Menards Wrigley Field groundskeeper for a day. Winner will enjoy the full game day experience of preparing the friendly confines and will help drag the infield during the 4th inning in front of a packed house. Winner also receives 4 tickets to the game, a Menards groundskeeper uniform, and pregame photos on the field. To enter the Menards Wrigley Field groundskeeper for a day, visit any Menards location to pick up an entry postcard.
Hell yes! 400!
Season after season, one network captures the most exhilarating moments in Chicago sports.
Cubs win!
Comcast Sportsnet. We understand your passion, and we're as obsessed as you are. We know this is what you live for, and we live for it too. You are the greatest sports fans in the world, and this is Comcast Sportsnet, fans' best friend. Inside Look, Ernie Banks, presented by Cadillac, now continues.
When you think of how hard it was for you to hit 500 home runs, and the guys that played at your time, they all did it clean, the right way. And now we hear of steroids and all these different problems. What is your take on someone saying, I don't believe Barry Bonds is the all-time home run leader because I don't think he did it like you did it, the clean way? What's your take?
Well, I just look at a little bit of history, you know. I mean, there have been all kind of things that happened in baseball way before we even started. When I played, it was mostly alcohol. I mean, in the clubhouse, on the plane, in the restaurant, everywhere you go, it was alcohol. So there's a few players who became alcoholics, you know, behind that time, you know. And so it's just the time that we play in, the competition that we're living under, the stress that we deal with. It's all of that. It kind of changes us to another level, and we have a death wish at times. I always talk to God Almighty. I mean, athletes must have a death wish. They just don't want to live. But you know, it's just the pressure that is involved in sports today is unbelievable. The pressure is unbelievable.
Does it bother you if someone, a little kid, he looks at the list and he goes, oh, there's Ernie Banks, 512 home runs, but look, all the way up here is Barry Bonds and Sammy Sosa and this guy and that guy, and you in your heart go, they didn't do it like I did it. The guys I played with, we did it the right way. Does it bother you at all?
No.
Why?
I went to see Barry when he was going for the record in L.A. and different places. I went to Rafael Palmer. I mean, I just got more close to the guys, and you know, they didn't. Alex Rodriguez, I mean, he broke my record for home run for shortstop. I went to Dallas to be with him and went to his house and talked to him about getting married and all of that. But he broke my record in Dallas. He hit Texas Rangers. I think he hit 58 or 9 home runs in 1 year. But I always look upon them as special people, you know, not what they did. I don't know what they did, and a lot of people don't. But baseball knows a lot about what's going on with a lot of that stuff. But I just like the people as members of this 500 home run club. I just like them. They just wonderful people. Reggie Jackson, I mean, and I was the only one that was in the 500 home run that didn't play in the World Series. So when we played the old timers game, they always razzed me a little bit. You didn't play in no World Series? Get out of here. Get back there. Go back there. you didn't play in the World Series. And I would ask them, what is it like playing in the World Series? I would ask them, hey, what is it like? Oh, man, you wouldn't know all that stuff. But I've learned toward the end of the season, it is tough to win a World Series.
Ernie and I decided to take a little break to stretch our legs. With a beautiful day at the ballpark came the urge to grab a bat. And for the first time in a long time, Mr. Cub took his rightful place at home plate at Wrigley Field.
And most of the people that came here was highly intelligent. From the North Shore, they all had averages come $120,000, $90,000, $120,000. They're all highly educated. Their kids went to school, most of them, and they came out after school was out and learned a lot from here. Mr. Wrigley used to give them jobs after the game was over to pick up the paper. Did you know that?
I did that. We used to either flip up a row of seats all the way around the park and you got a ticket for the next day's game.
Yeah.
Or you had to stack up cups a certain height and you got a ticket.
Right.
I used to do that all the time. Then I became a vendor here.
Would you like to do it again?
I liked being at the ballpark.
Would you like to do it again?
Would I like to do it again?
Yes.
I'd rather stand here and interview you.
Well, you could always do that. But no, but you like to do that again. Sometimes I think about life. I always said, let's play two. Is doing it one more time.
Yep.
Just one more time. Let's do it one more time. A guy named Ralph Kiner talked to me about hitting the baseball. And when you're in taking batting practice, try to hit every ball in the stand so I can get my hands moving. Hand action. He hit it all over there. He did. Ralph Kiner. You ever heard of him?
Absolutely.
Huh?
Great player.
Nice person, too. Nice person.
So when you took batting practice, were you trying to hit every one of them to Waveland Avenue? What were you trying to do?
Get him over there. Because in my career, I only hit 2 home runs to right field.
You were a dead pull hitter.
That's right. Like Ted Williams. And when I started playing, that's what they did. Everybody pulled the ball. Right hand, left hand, they pulled the ball. And Ted Williams was the first to do it. You heard of Ted Williams?
Splendid Splinter.
Yeah. Everybody played over there. Pulling the ball was our way of hitting back then. Al Kaline, all the guys that was playing what I was playing. Frank Robinson, all those guys. Willie Mays, pull the ball.
When was the last time you think you stood in this batter's box with a bat in your hand?
That was an old-timers game put on by the insurance company. And it was here. You know, used to play old-timers games at all the parks.
Sure.
But it was about 1973 when I was in the box.
Okay, the toughest guy you ever faced standing in the batter's box here at Wrigley, would it have been Bob Gibson? Was he the toughest to face?
No.
Who was tougher?
Who you think?
Juan Marichal.
No.
I don't know. Who?
Huh? He didn't pitch here that much. Marichal didn't.
Right.
They always pitched in the next city. But my life was about it. Me, Hank, and Willie was about hitting the ball. Didn't care who threw it.
So who was the toughest challenge? When you went to the park that day, you went?
Just the ball.
The ball, not the pitcher.
Just think about the ball.
How about that?
It was what happened. I've said this in love. We came out of the South, segregation and all of that. Me, Willie, and Hank. They were born in Alabama. I was born in Texas. So we came to the major leagues. We wanted to knock the hell out of that little white ball.
That's it.
What? Who's going to throw that ball out here to me? I would have knocked it. We used to talk about it a lot. Beat the hell out of that little white ball.
You can run, you can't hide.
That's it.
Coming up, making party plans.
And I would stay here after everybody leave this ballpark.
Inside Look. Ernie Banks will return in a moment.
When it comes to sports sedans, the Audi A6 is faster at depreciating. The 270 horsepower 2012 Cadillac CTS, the winner of an Edmunds.com Best Retained Value Award. Take advantage of this exceptional offer on the exhilarating CTS sports sedan today.
We'll talk a lot in between innings just to letting him know how I feel, and I think he knew that was something I really wanted to go out and do, is finish the game.
He's a talented kid and with a lot of guts and everything else, and he just continues to get better.
Still rehab, training, being around the guys. They're keeping me positive. When I get back out there, I'm just try to keep playing as if I wasn't hurt.
2003 was a huge season for me, and it was just fun sitting down there with the guys, knowing that every day when you take the field, you got a really good chance of winning.
Before each NASCAR race, visit CSNChicago.com and enter the Chicagoland Speedway Sweepstakes. Send in your pick, then watch CTL every Tuesday. And if Scott Paddock randomly selects your pick, you'll win tickets to September's Geico 400. Plus, you'll be entered to win the grand prize, a trip for two to the 2012 Sprint Cup Series award ceremony at the Wynn Hotel in Las Vegas. Submit your race pick now and enter the Chicagoland Speedway Sweepstakes from Comcast Sportsnet. Every weeknight, only one show covers Chicago sports the right way. Chicago Tribune Live. Join host David Kaplan in a nightly roundtable with Chicago's biggest sports stars, celebrities, and journalists as they tackle every angle of the sports world.
It really is an exciting time to be a Chicago Cub.
Oh, you're hitting me with these questions, Captain. It's been a while since this is my first time in the studio, and you're nailing me on the spot.
Chicago Tribune Live, presented by Captain Morgan. Tonight at 5 on Comcast Sportsnet, fans' best friend.
What will you do if you and I are sitting right there, first row, and the Cubs get the third out in the 9th inning, and it's over? They've won the World Series. Take me to that moment in your mind. What do you think you'll do? Because I think I'll cry. What will you do?
I wait till everybody leave the ballpark and go walk right out there on that mound. Everybody's gone now. And just think about all the things through the years, over 100 years, that this team didn't win, and now they won. And it's amazing. I mean, this would be amazing. I would stay here after everybody leave this ballpark and then go home, and there'd be parades and all that kind of stuff. And you know how people are when you win. I mean, they get a little over excited about it. But mine would be in a quiet spot here at Wrigley Field.
Just by yourself.
Just it.
Many thanks to Mr. Cub Ernie Banks, everyone with the Chicago Cubs and Wrigley Field. We thank you for joining us. For information about our next broadcast, go to csnchicago.com and check TV listings. We'll see you then. I'm David Kaplan.
So, I'm kind of new here, but I've noticed a trend. My human does this funny thing where she goes around and gets all my toys, and then she hides them in that basket by the door. You know, but it's always the same basket, and it's always in the same place. And then she acts so surprised when I find them, but, you know, she's putting them in the same basket. Again. It's like, hello? That's where you put it last time. You were the worst at hide and go seek.
Welcome home, man.
Everyone expects their child to be born healthy, but sometimes you face the unexpected. I'm Ryan Dempster.
and my daughter Riley was born with a condition called DeGeorge syndrome, or 22q deletion. Luckily for us, she was diagnosed early so we could plan a course of treatment. Today, Riley is a happy 2-year-old hitting developmental milestones and enjoying life. Early diagnosis is always key, so talk to your doctor about your newborn. Visit marchadimes.com/Illinois or DempsterFamilyFoundation.org for more information.